Hello, my name is Nathan Knapp. My parents are Curtis and Catherine Knapp, and I am third oldest of 4 boys and 4 girls. So you could say that I have a lot of experience with dealing with exciting wild things. I have taken a lot of projects in 4-H, from hogs to horses to plant science. But wildlife has definitely been my favorite project because it means I get to work with wildlife of all sorts and from all different places. A favorite for me centers around fishing, from fly fishing in Wyoming, where I improve my skill year by year, to cast pole fishing in Mississippi, where I learn about lures and other baits, to net fishing in Kansas, a first-time exposure. I've been hooked. Fishing is a skill that can be enjoyed long after football. One of my goals for wildlife was to improve my communication skills. This meant doing a lot of research. Throughout this process, I realized the importance of adapting the presentation to fit my audience. For example, when I was speaking for care homes about pigeons, I needed to speak slower and louder to cover more of the information about the animal for audience interest. In contrast, when speaking to children at daycares, schools, and preschools, I needed to limit my content and spend more time on the Q&A and hands-on segment. The kids may have been bored with my talking, but when I lifted the live bird from the crate, I had their full attention. All of my presentations this year were my major forms of leadership and citizenship, and it was kind of funny how, as I was learning how to adapt to my audience, I could purposely demonstrate to 2 middle school boys about presenting to little children. Another example of audience adaptation is a professional format where word choice, flow, and appearance are more important. This practice came with the Conservation District contest, where the topic was on the need for trees. I covered the symbiotic relationships between trees, birds, animals, and insects. Earning second place at state led to further invitations to speak. Something else you want to keep in mind that I learned when presenting is considering how you speak about other people's difficulties. And I got to practice this when I was presenting a slideshow about my missions trip to Papua, Indonesia last year. And here are 2 examples. Hogs have been a big problem for the people of Papua. They are both destructive and dangerous. This little boy's father was killed by one, making him an orphan. He is loved by his adoptive parents, though. Along with securing the mission fence against pigs, I filled in holes around the chicken coop to prevent the entrance of snakes. I discovered I'd missed one. The snake killed 3 chickens before we killed it. The Kuruwai found this 8-foot python a welcome meal. Communication skills take different forms, including demonstrations. My brother and I also demonstrated safe hunting skills for our club, 4-H days, and the state fair, where we earned a purple. I had my first deer hunts as a little boy with my dad, and we can now complete the entire process from start to finish. My dad and my brother and I have an ongoing project of creating a YouTube video showing how to process a deer, which is why knowing start to finish is important. If we didn't have the knowledge, we couldn't demonstrate the process and communicate as we go along. Sighting and cleaning, selecting shells and safe warm gear, testing the wind, observing trails, dressing the animal, butchering, processing, and cooking, these are all part of this process. Guns are a major tool used in managing wildlife, and their abuse has given ground for the abolition of this right. I helped make a poster on the issue of gun control with the intention of promoting discussion and thought on the topic, and we received a blue at the state fair. I had a neat surprise opportunity to receive some special communication training from the NRAU Summit. The NRA strongly defends our constitutional right to use guns, both promoting safe handling and rationale for their importance. I was accepted to and attended the Yes Leadership Summit in D.C. The group discussions that we had during this NRA event provoked me to consider my own opinions on issues, where I hadn't thought about them before, and then having these questions really made me think about these issues. And also it helped me to practice debating in a reasonable fashion and a respectful fashion with other people where you might have different opinions about certain topics. To involve more kids, I held a county meeting where we constructed table tent cards encouraging gun and hunter safety, which I then set up at 14 businesses across 2 counties. I've been able to see how this one area, wildlife, covers such a large spectrum, from economics to agriculture to conservation to public speaking and leadership to actually working with wildlife, even filmography, how they're all interconnected. And as far as for the future, this is a lifelong project, and I plan to be working and managing wildlife far beyond my years of 4-H. But whether it be working in the field or researching a speech topic or teaching others about what I've learned, this has definitely been a commemorative experience. God's creation can be enjoyed from Indonesia to the United States and beyond.